Hello, my dears. Welcome to Jessica's Intuition. Welcome to the next weekly reading. Before we start here, I definitely need to mention a few things briefly. For those who are not interested, you are welcome to fast forward. We are looking at the week of the 24th March until the 30th of March. March is coming to an end, and the week after that, we are already in April. Before we start, I noticed in the last weekly reading, it definitely resonated better with you that I did all 12 zodiac signs as a general message. That was clear to me. So it has always been like that in the past. In my first year, I did it that way. Then at some point, I generally stopped it. Then I tried it again. So in 2021, 2022, and then finally in 2023, I didn't do it anymore. And last year, 2024, not at all. I would like to try that. So I definitely want to keep doing it for all 12 zodiac signs. I actually try to film it on Friday or Saturday evening, depending on when I have time, so that you all receive it on Sunday. I can't always promise that it will be ready by 8 o'clock on Sunday, maybe a little later. In any case, I've decided to publish them all on Sunday and not before. I have also been considering whether to publish them earlier once they're finished, but I think I'll release them all at the same time on Sunday, unless I change my mind during the week. No idea, I'll think about it more carefully. As I said, I don't know if everything will work out at 8 o'clock in the morning this time. It's almost Saturday night now. Yeah, I'll just have to see. Then I definitely wanted to mention here that there were a few comments last week that I didn't like. First of all, this is my channel. If I want to include an introduction here, then I will. That's the first thing. I don't know how long it will be. I say that in advance. You are not forced to listen to it. You can also feel free to fast forward. As I said, if you're only interested in the card reading, you can actually leave my channel. I'm very straightforward about this because I want to have a community here that stands by me and appreciates what I say here. And it's not just all about the card reading. I've said it before, I'm not a card reading machine. That it's solely about the card reading here. This is also about astrology, and I actually mention in every weekly reading what we can expect astrologically in the week. I am genuinely happy, I must honestly say, when people reach out and leave a comment. That's how you can find the fly in the ointment and simply fish it out. So, I have deleted a few comments and actually also blocked a few users. As I said, if something doesn't suit me, I just do it. And I wanted to mention that I find it very disrespectful to even bring it up. And as I said, I don't want to give it a platform here, nor do I want to bother with it anymore. I just wanted to mention it here once. Anyone who stands out to me will be blocked immediately. Alright, that's just a preliminary note. The 72-hour outlook was also very well received by you. It will be available again on Thursday for all 12 zodiac signs. What I noticed there were the timestamps. I mentioned at the beginning of the video that I won't be adding timestamps and that I won't write down when each sign comes up. If any of you would like to do that, you are welcome to, and I would be very grateful. I also take note of such things, and maybe I'll pick you out someday and you'll receive a little goodie from me. Always remember, it's a give and take. I lay out the cards for you here. I don't have time for everything, and unfortunately, I don't have time to do that for all 4 channels as well. That's why I didn't do it. And as I said, you are welcome to write in the comments when your reading begins. I won't be upset about it. In fact, I am very grateful. You'll get good karma for that. And as I said, you will simply stand out to me because of it. Comments like the timestamps are missing or whatever stand out negatively. I just wanted to mention that so you are informed. I see everything. I also see things that are not visible. So in that sense, I see everything. Yes, that's just a preliminary note. I hope I haven't forgotten anything now. Exactly. I had told you that I have a course over the weekend, which actually runs from 9 to 6, from Friday to Sunday. Sunday, these readings will be released on Sunday. At some point during the day, the remaining spring readings will be released also on all channels. And I will actually also try to publish the weekly reading on all channels from now on. So that's actually my current project that I want to start. As mentioned, the remaining spring readings will come out sometime on Sunday during the day. And then starting Monday, the April readings will follow. First the monthly reading, then the me and my counterpart reading. I know I still have a few love readings open about what's coming up in love for you. I think I will also do those this week. But I also have a few appointments this week. I'm not sure exactly how I'll manage it all. Then we also have the new moon this week, for which an oracle will be released. Then we have Neptune, which is growing in the sign. And I actually would like to make a video about that as well. That's why I just have to see. Maybe I'll do it like this. I'll first do the April readings because they are a priority. Then I'll do the remaining love readings. I think there are still 7 left of the what's coming up in love for you readings. The timeless ones. And after that, I'll do the me and my counterpart reading. They will probably spill over into April, but everything is also partly timeless. A reading comes out every month for this series. So if it goes a few days into April, I think it's not that bad. So I think I'm done with the complaining. Yes, as I said, for me, that's just not acceptable. I just wanted to mention it once. And then the matter is settled for me because I don't celebrate or like such things at all. All right, as I said, we're looking at the week of the 24th until the 30th of March. The weekly readings won't be too long. Of course, the intro I speak is included in every zodiac sign. That always lasts longer than the actual reading. As I said, it's all a message, and it's all important for the next week, not just the card reading. And ultimately, these are weekly readings. Almost every day a video is released on my channel. That's why I can't make every video 30 minutes long. That just doesn't work. As I said, if someone doesn't like it, they are welcome to take the door and just leave. So what's coming up this week? We have, right on Monday the 30th, on the 24th, in March we have the Sun conjunct Mercury. Mercury is currently at 4 degrees Aries. It's retrograde, which means it's going back into Pisces. I had told you about that. It was at 9 degrees Aries and is now at 4 degrees Aries. And indeed, on Monday, it might happen that we feel major turning points or that a major turning point occurs. It could also be that something from the past comes up again. Something, yes, that we want to bring forward. Especially since Mercury represents our mind, also communication. The sun always illuminates that. They are practically right next to each other. So they are directly, let's say, in the radix. They are right next to each other, the conjunction. And that can actually also mean, yes, where should it go for you now? In which direction should it go now? In general, what, how, what, where? So it can actually mean where to with you. Where to with you? How should it move forward now? That is indeed the case. With Mercury conjunction, so Sun conjunction Mercury, that can actually be directly on Monday that you feel it too, right? The energies, or rather, yes, the energies, they know no time. They are there. They are already there now. One person feels it earlier, another feels it later. Then on the 27th of March, we have Venus in retrograde conjunction Neptune. So I would actually take this week, yes, time for yourself. So I would take time so that you take time for yourself, that you also withdraw a bit, that you think a lot this week about how things can generally continue for you, right? Because we also have the new moon. I believe it will be a very, very spiritual week as well. The week will not be easy, I'm telling you now. Yes, as I said, on the 27th of March, we have Venus in retrograde conjunction Neptune. Neptune is currently at 29 degrees Pisces. As I said, it is also changing its sign. It can actually be that we are more emotional, that we are more sensitive, more compassionate. It can also be that we want to heal or want to heal ourselves, that things simply come up, that we are allowed to process, things we might have pushed aside, right? Forgiveness issues, also something like forgiving oneself. This is definitely a time for spirituality, to go within, to be with oneself, to, as mentioned, also take time for oneself. As I have already said, it can also mean that major cleansing processes, as mentioned, the theme of healing, the theme of, yes, cleansing as well. I am definitely with the star energy on this. I just have to say, on the 27th of March, we also have Lilith changing her sign. She changes it every 9 years, and she's also moving into Scorpio. I'm very curious to see how this energy will affect us. However, she will be in Scorpio until the 20th, December in Scorpio. After that, she will go retrograde and come back again. That's just a preliminary note. And then indeed on the 29th of March, which is Saturday, the 29th of March, we have a solar eclipse, meaning the solar eclipse at 8 or 9 degrees. Aries. Yes, the new moon in Aries is coming up. Restart, exactly. Restart, energy. It's a fire energy. This is a very, very active energy. Strong willpower. A new chapter may open. We already had the new astrological year starting on Thursday. That was also, I must honestly say, I actually started something new on that day. So at the moment, everything is going very well for me. I can't say it any other way. So the year is really off to a good start for me. I hope it's the same for you, that you are making good progress in your endeavors. As I said, there was also a topic for me that I had been putting off for a long time. I have been putting it off since last year. And I realized that I have to tackle it sometime this year. I kept postponing it. And now, with the eclipse season, by the way, this is the last eclipse at the beginning of the year, the second of 4. And with that, the eclipse season is also over for now. It will return at the end of the year, in September or October. And it is indeed the case that during the eclipse season, or rather during the retrogrades, as I mentioned in the astrological forecast, things will resurface in March that we have postponed, simply things we haven't addressed. And that has indeed happened to me. And I can't tell you otherwise. Address the things you are putting off. One day you will be confronted with it again, sooner or later. And for me, a few things were indeed already too late. I know, but I knew that myself. But my hands were simply tied. I didn't have a solution for it. And I knew the solution would come eventually when the time was right. I was then forced to do something else first instead of what I actually wanted. And ultimately it then resolved on Thursday, or rather finally fulfilled for me on Friday. I am very thankful and very happy that I no longer have a problem in that regard. Yes, as I said, some might want to reflect back on last year, September, October. That was the eclipse season. And what was pending then? Whether you have completed it or not. As mentioned, we have the new moon in Aries. This is a very, very strong energy. This is again an energy for the next 6 months, where I would say, look at what you intended back then, whether it has now been fulfilled or realized. What still needs to be looked at? What still needs to be addressed? What can finally be completed? What can be started anew? Open a new chapter. That's really the theme, I would say. As mentioned, there will be another video about this. I will probably manage to film the video on Thursday, or rather, maybe already on Wednesday, and then it will be published for you on Thursday. That's how I feel about it. Yes. For the new moon in Aries. I'm very curious about that. Yes, that's it for now, and then my dear ones, what can I say? On March 30th, we have Neptune in Aries. I think this week Mercury will also, won't it go back over Aries again? I have a feeling, won't it go back over Aries again this week? Wait a moment, I need to quickly check my astrology tool. So I think, it goes again, no, on the 29th, right? I believe on the 29th, Mercury goes back into Pisces again. But I'm not 100% sure. It's currently on Monday, it's at 4 degrees. I think it will again. I think it was on the 29th. On the 29th, Mercury goes back into Pisces again. Yes, the 29th. That was it. I didn't write it down. Thought I would remember it. Well, let's finally get to the last part. The 30th. Yes, the 30th of March. Neptune in the sign of Aries. That actually only happens every 164 years. 164 years ago, none of us were around, so we don't know how that will be. And especially the constellation that is present now, that wasn't there before. And Neptune in Aries actually stays until the 22nd, 2025 in Aries. Then it becomes retrograde again and goes back into Pisces. And then in January, I believe it was the 25th or 26th. Yan. Neptune goes back into the sign of Aries. So this Aries 0 point is very, very important. I watched a video by Silke Schaefer 2 days ago or so. So when she published it, the last video from me, super informative. There were just such awesome messages in it. I can only recommend it to you. Watch the video. She is a professional astrologer. And yes, she mentioned and talked about some things that are just, wow, what awaits us. A new cycle is opening. As I said, we haven't seen or experienced this transit in our lifetimes. It can actually mean that we are entering into major new beginnings. In general, new energy, new world. Everything will be a bit different. Everything will change, also on a global scale. We feel, I think, the urge, especially with Aries in Neptune, the urge to start anew, to begin again, perhaps also to realize our dreams. Big new dreams, a bigger, a newer life. And I also like to say lately, hold on to your vision. And most of you here have probably noticed that something has come to fruition for me in the last few weeks, for which I am very grateful that it turned out the way it did. Ultimately, also with my other channels, that was a very, 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 very deep-seated wish of mine to eventually start the English one. Now, I'm also available in Spanish or Turkish. And yes, I am curious to see what else will come. So, at the moment, I am really very, very happy. Of course, there are a few things that still need to be addressed, which one likes to look at. I just took the deck of cards and there was the Ace of Cups under the deck, which also tells me that there are very, very big new beginnings this week. Very important new beginnings as well. I also believe that for many, a new beginning is coming this week. Okay, my dears, I'll leave it here with this intro for now. A good 18 minutes have passed. As I said, I'm not rushing anymore. I'm also taking the time to tell you about it. A little reminder. I have decided that you will get the 2026 annual reading with a 25% early bird discount. I'm extending it for another week. For those who still want to participate, let's say until the 31st of March, because the 30th of March, we're going until the 31st of March in 2025. You can purchase the 2026 annual reading off with the early bird discount for 25% less. Book the 2025 annual reading anyway. I will remove it sometime next month or the month after, and then I will already put in 2027. But for now, it will remain available. And yes, this reading will be released on Sunday. Anyone who still wants the spring reading at a discount can do so until Sunday the 23rd. March. Save 20% on the spring reading without any additional code. When you add it to the cart, it will be automatically deducted. Exactly, that's just for you, my dear ones. I would say let's start with the zodiac signs and see you soon in the videos. Hello, dear Sagittarius. Welcome to your weekly reading. Let's see what the week has in store for you. Always take a look at your moon sign, your Venus sign, your ascendant sign. In general, check where your personal planets are. You can find the link to calculate your birth chart in the info box below, so don't just always look at your sun sign. So, let's take a look. Always remember that the roles in a reading can be reversed. Time is always relative, time flows. And these are always collective readings, general readings. Of course, it may also be that not everything will resonate with you in this reading here. All important information, all important links, and also the cards I use can always be found below in the info box, and everything I currently offer can be found on my website. So let's see. Look, a new opportunity possibly for you. A fateful opportunity. Okay, let's see what will come out. It wants to go in. It was the Three of Cups. We got the Three of Swords. So it may be that old wounds will resurface this week, things you have suppressed, things you have just somehow pushed aside, that you have suppressed, that you haven't addressed anymore, right? These can indeed be such things that come up again now with the Three of Swords. But these are your thoughts. It's about changing these thoughts and processing them. You don't actually have three swords in your heart, right? Accept the whole thing. try to heal it, as I said, to heal these painful situations that were there. By the way, I have already sorted out the moon cards here. We have the new moon, you know, a new beginning is coming. Then we have the new moon in Aries to take action, and the solar eclipse, a big or a massive change, a massive change this week. Be ready for new things, yes, new things. Make clear decisions, and a new phase of life may begin for you. Let's take a further look. Four of Wands up high. Harmony for that as a core. You may enjoy your harmony, enjoy life, joy, freedom if you like. Also celebrate joy, but actually I wanted to say maybe also freedom. The two cards couldn't be more different. Three of Swords, Four of Wands. Here is sadness, disappointment. Here we have joy, fun, and you may enjoy life again. You may have fun and joy in life again. And we have the King of Wands under the deck. This is a doer who is independent and free. And yes, be ready to also close off the old, that which has disappointed you. Be ready for new beginnings. Be ready for new beginnings. Seven of Wands, assert yourself there as well. Push through with your plans. The Tower, that is the liberation from the old beliefs, the old structures, your old self. The Swords, here something is coming to an end forever. In the coming time, this week, something is coming to an end forever, also with the Tower. You will free yourself there from old things that no longer make you happy, where you might feel trapped or confined. These can also simply be old beliefs with the Tower. This will happen suddenly this week, that you free yourself from old circumstances. Whatever it is, it can be the employment relationship, it can be in any area of life, it can be the employment relationship, a partnership, even an ex-partnership, that still has a part. In the present, which has not yet been processed due to pain, the disappointment. This can now be looked at and finally concluded. Here we also have the King of Wands, the Devil, and there we have the Ace of Coins. Be ready to free yourself from these things. The King of Wands is also a doer who has the drive to take responsibility now, to take back control of his life, and he practically puts it into action. He is a doer. He does it. He doesn't think much about it. He just does it. Ten of Wands, leave the old burdens behind. Be ready to finally let go of and discard the old things that weigh you down, all the burdens you carry with you. We have here many standing. Here we have the 6, which are the 10 in between, the 6 of Wands. This is the gifted victory. Someone wants to gift you a victory here. Be victorious. Come out of this situation as a winner. Under the deck, the 9 of Pentacles. I have the feeling that some will separate from a relationship here. It could actually be that there is still something somewhere that has hurt you. It could also be an ex-relationship, but that you finally free yourself from it. And here with the 9 of Pentacles, this is the success, the abundance that may now come, the satisfaction. Perhaps also financially speaking, that you may be more satisfied again. Yes, there we have the Hanged Man. Under the deck, the 3 of Pentacles. I have this feeling here, the Hanged Man and the 3 of Coins, you want to look into the future now. The Hanged Man doesn't act as he hangs, so head over heels. It's really about getting away from something, getting away from someone where you might have been or were incapacitated. The Hanged Man also hangs head over heels. He comes to new perspectives, new viewpoints, and you are allowed to develop a new perspective on your future. How do you want your future to look? What do you want to have in your future? Do you want to realize yourself with someone? And it can indeed be that someone new wants to come into your life. But that also means you are allowed to process the old, to free yourself from old things. Because if you drag them into a new relationship when it should be about love, this relationship will also fail. I tell you how it is. You must first process the old things, conclude them, and finally look towards the future. What you actually want in the future can indeed be like a glimpse into the future. This week that you will have, if you now say, but I don't want anyone, I am focusing on myself alone. Then you will build something new for yourself in the here and now for the future. Okay, I'll leave it at that. We will draw another moon card for you. let's see. So I have drawn it, but now we will draw another moon card for you for this week. A moon card. Nothing is set in stone. Yes, nothing is set in stone, especially not a card spread. That can change again. If you are ready to change something, the tendency of your card reading will also change. Nothing is set in stone. I find that very interesting. By the way, it's not quite yet. The current moon situation is not quite. Okay. I will now lay another row of cards for you in the continuation. Then we'll see what will come your way. I will draw a power animal for you. Which power animal will really accompany you this week? I will draw a soul message for you and an angel message, which can be a piece of advice for you, or an answer to your question. And to conclude, there is also a love message for you here. You now have the choice to watch the continuation between two different links, at least on the German channel. The first link is always the one that leads you to my website. There you can always watch the continuation individually. Very important, you will always receive 2 emails. The first email is a confirmation email, and then you also have your invoice in it. And then you receive a second email where you have a button that directs you to the continuation. This can actually end up in the spam folder, so definitely check there as well. Then you also have the option to watch the continuation through the channel membership here on YouTube. That is the second link, which is for you, then for the continuation of the channel membership. However, you can only watch the video if you are a channel member, and you will find a third link below. That is the area of my channel membership. There you can sign up for a channel membership. From the second level here, from the Soul Community branch, exactly bronze, did you have earlier? Access to all continuations of the weekly readings. And you can always find these links below in the info box and also in the top comment. I look forward to welcoming you there soon. And to everyone else, I wish you a wonderful week. All the best, and until the next reading. Bye.